guys? It's been quite a minute. So this video, I want to say that I filmed on a very early morning. Frankie has been waking up at about 4, I'm not even kidding, 4:44. He likes the same three numbers, 4:44 in that range, every darn day for a few weeks now. I almost want to say that it was due to the time change. In fall, when we fell back an hour, I don't know. I want to say it's been that long, but I'm not quite sure. He's also teething, which has been going on for about a month. So there's that aspect of things. It's just rough. So, anyways, here we are at around 5 a.m. I'm putting him in my carrier because I don't want him to walk around and make a ton of noise. And thankfully, this morning I had a little bit more energy, pep in my steps somehow, some way, even waking up that early. And I decided that I was going to get to work with my sourdough. Sometimes I feel like having something in the kitchen ready to go, like sourdough, kind of helps me get up out of bed because I'm like, okay, I have something like to look forward to. It's a fun thing for me. It's not like a chore. But anyways, I don't know. Some days it's nice, and then some days I completely forgot about it the night before and I just lay in bed for a little longer. Anyhow, this video, I wanted to talk about being faithful in little while your kids are little. And so this video kind of comes straight from the heart. I didn't really have a ton of notes about what I was going to say. But the other day, I call it, I had like a little break, like a coffee break by myself out in the backyard. And I was just in the sun and closing my eyes, just like kind of praying, more so having like a little one-sided conversation with God, just saying that I was feeling a little bit discouraged because I just feel like I expect a lot more of myself and like have this long to-do list of things that I want to accomplish during the day, and then it gets to nighttime and then I don't do it, and it's a constant cycle. And so I was just in that, and I was asking the Lord, why? What is going on? Why can't I do all of these things? And the Lord gave me this verse, and I'm pretty sure that I probably quoted it in my previous video or maybe a couple previous videos, but the verse is Luke 16:10, and that is, one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. And so I just felt this one to my core. Like, I just felt like he was saying, be faithful in the little things while they are also little. And this is not like be faithful in a little bit because you're lazy, but it's be faithful in a little bit because you are at full capacity. Like, the little bit that you can be faithful in, be faithful in it. Does that make sense? Basically, like, be wise, use your time wisely. This is just like all what I just kind of felt like the Lord was putting on my heart in that moment. And then also, Colossians 3:23 through 24 came to mind. Whatever you do, so even in the little things, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive an inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord. And so I have just been considering, like, what do I want to leave this season with? When I am looking back, I want to say, wow, my kids are not that little anymore, and I've sort of kind of made it out of like that season. What do I want to say that I've grown in during that season, like when it's all said and done? Granted, I know that I'm like in this young motherhood phase for like quite a while, but at least I'll I'll know when I'm out of the very, very little years, because that's just but a blip. And I'm talking the little years like before they even start school. And so, anyways, things that I want to look back and say, I think I did that as best as I could are kind of some of the following. So I did make a note of some of these. I want to say that I was faithful, that I was faithfully clinging to God, to His Word, and just to look back and know that He is what got me through it, not scrolling on my phone or venting to my friends or, whatever it may be. That it was the Lord, that this time was a blessing from Him, and basically the way that I will cling to Him, this means that I would faithfully be devoting myself to Him during this time, reading the scriptures even when I'm tired, and praying. And I would say that this is probably the time that I would need it the very most, right? Another thing I want to be able to say is I want my children to grow in their love for God and each other. And so this would mean that during this season, I am making time for Bible stories, for conversations about God, about His Word, singing hymns together, just like, making Him a priority. Other things that I want to challenge myself with is to just store up as much of this as I can in my heart. Like, this is a very precious, special time. So obviously, that would mean for me right now, less screens, less distractions, just being in the moment of what's going on. When I leave this season, I would also want to say that I want to grow in my relationships with other moms, other families. I want my children to grow in their relationships with their friends. And so that means that I would have to be putting a priority on face-to-face connections with these people, play dates, and making time for, just real life connections. Another thing is that I want to make sure that my husband feels loved and is a priority during this time, because I don't want him to take a back seat to all of this because I'm too busy raising our kids. Like, that's not okay. This would mean that I would have to be consciously making an effort to spend time with him after the kids go to bed, putting his needs above my own. There's sacrifice like all around for all of these points that I'm trying to make. Like, there's gonna be sacrifice during this time to make sure that the most important things are being done. And so if that means staying up a little bit later to hang out with my husband, I don't really think that's like a huge sacrifice, but you know what I mean. Another thing is I want to make sure that my family is healthy. Like right here, I'm making sure their vitamins are ready to go. I want to provide healthy meals. I want to be realistic, obviously, with that. And like tonight, we ordered wings. And so it's like, obviously, sometimes that is what works out for the night, and I have to give myself grace. However, the majority of the nights I would like to make a home-cooked meal. Right? Isn't that everybody's goal? I don't know. And then the last thing that I kind of wrote down that I want to say that I like gave it my best effort and like was faithful in is continuing on our little rhythms that we have in our home so that our kids feel secure and a sense of just like what they can expect, what's coming in the day. They feel loved. Kids just thrive in rhythms and routines, and I know that that's good for them. Notice that I did not mention working out. Maybe I should have, but I did not. Waking up early before my kids, a self-care routine. I didn't mention like a time out with my friends or a date night with my husband. There's a lot of things that I probably, maybe you're like, oh wait, like you missed this. There's a lot of things, right, that would be nice to go on that list. But again, this is the time to be faithful in the small things and as minimal as possible, right? And so like my family is the utmost importance, and they are very demanding. My children are very demanding at this time. All three heavily require my attention. And so right now, those other extra like nice things can kind of wait. Like there is a little bit more until, I guess, there's a little bit more leisure time. Right now, I got none. I have no leisure time. And so it's just the main things. And that's okay. So I have to use my time wisely and grow in the disciplines that I know are going to benefit myself and my family in the long run. So I am in it right now, you guys. Like this is work, and I am in it. And you might be watching this and be saying, I am too. And I pray that this video doesn't feel like it's an attack on anybody who might be doing some of those extra things in your life. Honestly, good for you if you are able to provide for your provide all the needs of your family plus do some of those extra things. That's honestly amazing. I cannot. I can only be faithful in the small amount of things that I'm able to do right now. But I do hope that it is an encouragement to stop and to consider your priorities. Maybe if you are in the same boat as me, and you're in a season where you're like, I don't know why I cannot get to all of the things that I want to. Or, maybe your kids are really demanding during the little years. I just pray that something of what I said was an encouragement to you, that I just have been a tool used by God to speak to you today, and that basically I also pray that we are not a victim to these circumstances, that we don't, come to that. But I pray that this is a call to you to reach out to the Lord and ask Him where you are to grow during this time, how you will look differently next time you look back. Like once you're in the next season, how are you going to look back and see this one? So I can't say anything about how I'm going to look in my next chapter, but I pray that it is not what I look like today. And I pray that I am a new person and closer to the Lord, closer to my family, and just altogether a better person because I've clung to Him and faithfully made it through this season. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much. I hope you guys got something out of that. I feel like it was a little bit sporadic. I don't know. I probably say that every single time. Anyhow, I hope you guys got something out of that, and I do pray that you were encouraged and that you can make it through faithfully during these little tiny years that we have that will be over, honestly, in a blink of an eye. Anyways, you guys, I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.